Okay, so I'm doing 3 different videos. In one of these videos, I'm going to show you how to install an Intel Extreme processor. In this case, this one right here is an Intel 5960 Extreme Core i7. Now, I know for some people who want to build a gaming computer, right now is a horrible time to do it because shit is very expensive. Now, I have 2 of these Triad Alienware towers. I have to say these are very expensive towers. So if you want to build a gaming rig and you don't want to spend that much money, you may just want to get like an EVGA tower with the side glass case. You can put water pump cooling in it. I might actually build one of those for you. So I just want to show you how to do this. Now this one is, again, this is a Core i7 5960X. I also am doing a Core i9, which I'll also show you in a different video. So let's just go through the basics. First of all, you see how I'm holding this processor? You never, ever, ever touch the bottom of the processor at all. You don't want anything from your fingers, any grease. You don't want anything getting on the bottom of the CPU. You only touch the side, so you should always hold it like this. That's number one. Now, this is the CPU holder right here. There are 2 little bars where they spring up. That shit sprung up like a goddamn mousetrap on me. It scared the shit out of me. Okay, and you release these latches. I have my thermal paste, which is going to go on afterwards, and then I'm going to put on this liquid cooler. Now, both of my Triad cases are exactly like this. These 3 empty spaces, I'm putting 3 video cards in, and I can use this as my Bitcoin miner. And as you see, there's HyperX memory in there. And I've loaded out all the DIMM slots, and all I have to do is put the water pump cooler in. So basically what you have to do is you find where does the triangles match up. So you see in the corner of this CPU, there's a little triangle right there which says R3, and you have to find, well, where do those triangles match up? Where's the triangle match up? The shape of this CPU will fit direct. You do not force anything. You put it right on there. You don't force anything. If you force it, you will damage it. You don't want to damage it. So you have to figure out, well, where does that triangle fit? So if you look closely, you'll see that it says R3 right here. Right over here, the other one, it says R2, R3. And I also see a triangle right there. So what I'm doing, I'm fitting it towards this triangle and making sure it all matches up. It should match up just perfectly. I'm gonna lay it right there. Fit right in there. You see that? Everything fit right in there. There are some little dimples. There are very, very little dimples. One, you see one right here in the very middle, and then there's a second one right there. Now you can see it in the very middle. 2 little dimples. Now, all you do, close this down, push this here softly, not too hard, lock it in, push this, lock it in, and now your CPU is in position. So if you're planning on building yourself a Bitcoin miner, well, you're definitely going to want to have 3 GPUs. Now, if you don't want to risk a lot of money and you want to do something inexpensive, you could use those AMD Ryzen cards, but I never recommend those. You could go online, and it's kind of easy in most cases to find people selling lots of coins miner cards that they've mined with. But I don't really recommend buying other people's junk, because the problem is they've run those cards at 100%, maybe even more. And they may have damaged those cards. So you got to be really, really, really careful with that. So because this is a Core i7 Extreme machine, I'm using this one as the Bitcoin miner. And for my new Alienware monitor, I'll be playing i9 Extreme, and I'll be using a Titan XP. So basically, the reason why I broke these videos up like this is because I wanted to do a build your own computer. So the last episode, I installed this water cooler right here, the Alienware branded water cooler. Now, here's the thing. The next thing I have to do is I have to apply thermal paste, and then I have to put the water pump paste. It's Cooler Master, high performance, $6. All you have to do is you put a dimple right here on the middle, and once you put that down, then you have to put the cooling pump system on top of it, and you screw it down on all four sides. It's actually relatively simple. The reason why you need that thermal paste is kind of as a buffer between the liquid cooler and the actual CPU, because the top of this thing gets hot enough to roast fucking bacon. So you absolutely don't want your CPU setting fire to the inside of your house. Don't want that. So let's open this up and let's get that gel on there. Okay, so I have the injector right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go straight to the center of the processor. Just in case you fuck up, make sure you don't get any of this shit on anything else. And on top of that, you can use isopropyl alcohol in order to clean the back of the processor off. Like, let's say you have a processor that's dirty or something, and there's still thermal paste left on it. You can use isopropyl alcohol on that, and you can use it on the bottom of your water pump in order to get paste off. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a nice, good amount of this shit right here. Look at that. Put a nice fat dimple amount, and it's going to spread out evenly when we put the cooler back on. Now, some people will probably say, "Oh, you use it too much," and this, that, and other. But you know, better. In fact, fuck it. You know what? Let me just use just a little bit more. Better safe than sorry, because these processors get hot. I don't want this shit burning down my house. So just a little. That's enough. That's enough. It's like cream pieing the processor. You got to give the processor a nice pearl necklace cream pie. Then you slide that son of a bitch right on there, and then you just, all you got to do is now tighten it. 1, 2, 3, 4, just tighten it, and it's ready to go. Tighten it up. Now, with different types of computers, you're more than likely going to have different types of fan setups. Now, my fan setup in this type of case has 2 different fan connections. One of them is back here for the water pump itself, the radiator, and then there's another mid-fan connection right here behind the memory. So once you get that all nice and plugged in, the only thing you have to do, you have to install your video cards, and then you install your hard drives or your SSDs. Hopefully you're only using SSDs at this point. SSDs are relatively inexpensive, so if you don't need a lot of storage, you can easily get like a 250 gigabyte SSD for about $75 or less, possibly even $50 if you're lucky. And that's basically it. That's the installation of an Extreme Core i7 Extreme processor. So this is going to be a badass Bitcoin miner, and all it's going to do is just sit there and mine and make me money, because I'm a pimp. I'm Bitcoin pimp. You can see here, this is the hard drive bay. Once you've got your processor all squared away, you can put your hard drives in. I'm using 4 hard drives on the Extreme build. On the second tower, as you can see, these things are pretty fucking heavy. These things weigh like 60 pounds each. But what I like about them is, even though other computer towers usually let you hold like 3 hard drives and whatnot, this tower does have a lot of space in it if you're willing to go the extra mile and maybe customize a little bit of yourself. And a lot of people actually do that. So here I got my 128 gigabyte drive that I use in my car for all my music. And I was just loading some music to that, and there's that beautiful Alienware. And as you can see, this is a beautiful keyboard. Everything is running A-OK. So right now I'm uploading one video to YouTube, as you can see. So the CPU installation worked perfectly. And just to check, make sure everything's going well, you go right there, you go to, what is it, My Computer. And you can see all these hard drives I'm using. I'm using a lot of hard drives. I got one hard drive specifically for pornography. And right there you go, the Internet Hate Machine. I gotta change this name, in fact, because it's no longer 700-515. I gotta change that name. But 5960X CPU running at 3 gigahertz. Now, here's the thing: when you liquid cool your processors, you can get a liquid cooled Core i7 right now, 8700 for $299 or $316 if you pay tax. And you can, if you liquid cool it, you can actually run those processors stable at 5 gigahertz. Now, why would you need to do that? I have no idea, because right now there's no game that you really need that would possibly need it. But as you can see, I'm using Windows 10 and 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. 31.9 is usable. I like to run extra memory. Some people are like, oh, you don't need that much memory, you only need 16 gigabytes. Right now, memory is very expensive, and that's part of the reason why they steer clear of buying extra memory. But I don't really care, because I get business leasing on processors. I get business leases on computer. I get tax breaks and whatnot. So for me, it's not a big deal. And then I'm using some of these things to mine Bitcoin for myself to make a little bit of extra scratch every month on that YouTube Cash. But basically, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you of how to install a water cooler and how to install a CPU. Hope you enjoyed the video. You can just remember to push like or dislike if you didn't like it. So thank you very much for watching.